Father Bless, not assuming this is so, but is it possible Charlie was baptized in the church by his blood? There's been, some discussion of that with some. I was talking to a higher monk, and I asked his opinion. I'll actually read you what he wrote me. Of course, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but he's a dear friend, and so I asked him, where is it? Oh, it's a audio. I can't play it. But he basically said that when Paul talks about those who have the law and then they have the law outside, who do not have the law, but they have it in their conscience, they have it in their heart, right? And so they follow it according to their conscience. He applies this to the situation. And so people outside the church do not have the law. That's the equivalent, right? They don't have what the church has. So they're not going to be held accountable for having it. So they'll be judged according to their conscience ultimately, if they did not reject the church, obviously. If they did not just, have they're ignorant of the church and ignorant of what the church is and what they need to do to be saved. But they're far from it. They didn't apostatize from the church. They didn't rebel against the church, right? They were never in the church. So I think there is, we can't say they're saved or they're not saved. We can't say they're baptized in the blood necessarily, because they weren't in the ancient church. There would have been one church and all the Christians would have been confessing Christ, and for their confession, they were martyred, right? It's a little bit of a stretch to say he was martyred for his confession, but not entirely. I mean, they largely killed him because of his views, which had to do with his faith as well. They were all connected. So I don't know. All I've been telling people is this, that we can hope and we can pray. And if I said to someone, if I as a human being desperately desire his salvation and can see the goodness and the struggle that he had and the good desires and good disposition he had, how much more does God see? And so I'm hopeful, but I don't think an Orthodox Christian can ever come down and say he is not or he is saved. That's usurping the judge, and only he knows the hearts and only he can judge. And so, there's boundaries to what we can say, but there's always hope. One of the most, the little video that we put online, you saw that, I think, maybe with Charlie talking about orthodoxy a little bit and how people want the ancient paths and all that. I sent it to this higher monk friend of mine. He says, this was probably one of the most salvific clips for his apology and for his hope. I loved it more than you can imagine. I really hope this kid's soul is forgiven and he makes it to our Lord forever. I think he even had some good things to say about the Panagia. Indeed, he was calling the Protestants to honor the Mother of God. Another great sign. I think he would have become Orthodox eventually. I think Father Josiah thought that as well in his little reflection. But I don't think I haven't heard anybody say he was baptized in his blood as the ancient martyrs because the things are one removed, and it's not really absolutely clear that he was killed for his confession. Like he didn't deny Christ, then he refused and they killed him. So it's a little bit of a stretch to say he was baptized in his blood. But regardless of that, I still think there's a lot of hope for people like him who's struggling and good disposition. We can't speak definitively. They're not in the church, and therefore, it's God's to judge. God will judge, of course, to judge everyone. But how much more those outside? We don't, as the Apostle Paul says, we don't judge those outside, right? We don't judge those outside. Now he's outside the church, but there's this kind of weird area there. Heterodoxy, it's heresy, yes, but there's these good people that put us to shame. I mean, a lot of what he was doing, we should be doing, right? I actually thought to myself after, yesterday or today, I said to myself, I should be on the college campuses. I should be going out there and defending the faith and teaching people the Christian morals. What am I doing? Like the fact that another person wrote me, I'll share that with you. And let me find it here one second. I like what she said. Well, she says basically he was very worthy, and I don't even begin to touch the surface of this man's legacy. Humbled by his example, and now I want to get closer to Christ because of him. Well, that's very good fruit, isn't it? I think it's amazing. And then I also feel an incredible strength from this to be bold and not fear speaking up either. I can feel Christ calling us to do the same. Be bold, speak the truth, even if it means death. We already know the ending. So she was inspired by Charlie Kirk to do that. I think that's good fruit. I don't know. I mean, that's God's doing. So it's a mystery, some of this stuff.